This is Turk Road, a rutted path cutting through the hills of Montana. It's not much to look at, but over the last few years, use of the dirt road has triggered violent threats, armed confrontation, and some believe cold-blooded murder. With less than 7 people per square mile, Montana remains one of the last great frontiers.
Montana is a unique state in that fact is people want to move here, they want to live on their property, and everybody leaves them alone.
That's exactly what attracted Mike Kreitz, an avid outdoorsman who owned 80 acres off Turk Road just outside Helena.
This particular lifestyle suited Mike because, number one, he loved nature. And number two, Mike was a little frustrated, as we all get, with authority and rules and things like that. And he just, he wanted to live off the grid.
Mike built a home with no running water and no electricity, living alone save for his beloved wolf dogs. Canines that were 87% wolf.
He was just so proud of this land. And he even liked living here in the winter, which I found crazy.
Well, it's right about 10 below, and it's most definitely kind of a continuing blizzard out there. But I'm going hunting. Guess maybe I am insane, I'm not sure.
Despite being a loner, Mike became good friends with his neighbors Gloria and Mark Flora.
Mike had a reputation of being a very tough guy, but I've seen him, he would live trap chipmunks rather than get a cat. When one of his dogs would die, he'd be broken up for days. He was a softy at heart.
Well, hello there, little buck.
It's not against the law to be odd or eccentric, and that's what he was. And he liked to live out by himself, and if you didn't want any trouble with Mike, all you had to do was leave him alone. That's all you had to do. He wasn't out looking for trouble with anyone.
But trouble found Mike when John Meehan and his wife moved onto Turk Road. Turk Road is neither public nor private. Instead, landowners secure easements, a form of legal permission that allows them to use the road when it passes through another's property. That's where all the trouble starts. You see, Mike Kreitz lives near the end of Turk Road. To get to his house, he had to cut across John Meehan's property. And according to Sheriff Leo Dutton, Meehan didn't want anyone on his land.
Meehan and his wife maintain that no one has a right to cross that. They own it, and they aren't opening it up to anyone.
That doesn't make any sense. That road had been in place for 40-odd years. It was certainly used by other people before they ever moved there. I mean, it's a giant road.
Michael Kreitz maintained when he bought his land that he did have an easement to cross all roads into his property. And that was the genesis of the argument. Then neither one wanted to back down.
How else were Michael Kreitz and the Floras supposed to get to their property then?
Well, that was the issue. They had no other way to get there.
It sounds bizarre because it is bizarre. It sounds crazy because it is crazy. It makes no sense. It's certainly not enough of a reason to go to war with people over, and they did.
They harassed Mike, and they blocked the road. They blocked the road with snow. They blocked the road so that other people couldn't get through.
When Mike would make it out to town, Meehan would have to see him go by because Mike had to go by Meehan's place. And as soon as Mike left, Meehan would get on his snowmobile and race up to Mike's property, terrorize his dogs, do loops around his house with the snowmobile, and then race down before Mike could get back.
Mike began recording video evidence of his tense showdowns with Meehan.
Well, old Johnny here's blocked the road.
You gotta prove it. You wanna pull the documentation up and prove you've got access through here, do so.
And Mike claims this standoff nearly got him killed.
Well, I'm hoping you guys just heard that shot. I just heard a bullet fly over my head, so we'll see if that's enough to make you law enforcement types do something. Hope you will. It's not getting any better up here.
My brother expressed his fear for his life numerous times to law enforcement.
They called a lot. You crossed my land, you plowed me in, you tried to run me off the road. Those are the kind of things that were beginning to escalate.
Gloria and Mark were also feeling the heat.
Did John Meehan ever threaten you?
On 4 different occasions, he fired a gun at close range from a hiding position. I did feel very threatened. This was not target practice. This was not random. This was specifically intended to intimidate, and it did.
And I told him, I cannot have your dogs chasing my livestock. He said, you should put your livestock in a barn. My dog need to run. And we got no help from the sheriff's department. 0.
Tensions on Turk Road were reaching a boiling point, but nothing could prepare anyone for what happened next. When we come back,
he flat just looked at me and he said, Chris, they're gonna kill me.
the turf war takes a shocking turn.
He pointed a gun at me. He pointed it at me twice.